Hello students, today we are going to start with new prose, that is the Chicago speech by Swami Vivekanand. Let's know about the author first. Swami Vivekanand was a Hindu monk who represented India at the World's Parliament of Religious held in Chicago. Now this extract which we are going to see today is a speech given by Swami Vivekanand at the World's Parliament of Religions, which was held in Chicago in 1893. He was born in an affluent and educated Bengali family. Vivekanand had acquired a vast knowledge of various subjects, especially Western logic, philosophy and history. By the time he graduated from Calcutta University, he opened his mind to various intellectual and philosophical influences and perspectives. Means when he was getting his education as a graduate from Calcutta University, from there on only he started thinking about very intellectual and philosophical influences by other, you can say, inspirative people here. Later he travelled across India, and his close interaction with the Indian masses helped him understand the need to eradicate poverty, illiteracy and the oppression of women and the poor in the Indian society. Means when he was travelling across the India, he came across the people whom with he interacted, and he came to know about the Indian people, that he for the you can say upliftment of these people, we need to eradicate poverty from our society, illiteracy and the oppression of women and the poor in Indian society. Means all these evil acts prevailed in those days in our country here. They were really people who were discriminated according to the class. The, you can say, poor and you can say untouchable were not allowed to take education. The women were really oppressed. They were also deprived of education. Child marriages used to take place there. Child infanticide used to take place at that time. And the many people, you can say, the rich used to become rich day by day, and poor used to become poorer day by day. So all these things prevailed in the society, and he really wanted to eradicate all these evil things from our society. He resolved to devote his life to serving people, and when he realized about all these things which prevailed in the society, he decided that he will devote his life to serve people of his country. To this end, he formed the Ramakrishna Mission a few years later, and with this purpose in mind, he started a Ramakrishna Mission after few years. Around this time, he attended the Parliament of Religions in Chicago, and after some time what happened? He attended the Parliament of Religions which was conducted in Chicago. The first formal assembly of representatives from Eastern and Western spiritual traditions. Means all the representatives from the Eastern and Western traditions, they attended this conference here, you can say. Back home, he became instrumental in the revival of Hinduism and nationalism in colonial India. Means we all know in those days the Britishers used to rule our country, and many colonies were formed in our country here. So in those days he really became instrument in the revival of Hinduism, making people know what their actual religion is, and nationalism, having the you can say arising the, you can say, feeling of patriotism in the heart of the people. He actively sought to bring about the unification of various Hindu sects by highlighting their common foundation. Means they were in those days Hinduism also was divided into different sects. So he really worked hard to bring about all those sects together and make them feel that they all are united with one they have only one foundation. And he also attempted to focus the attention of educated people on the downtrodden masses. Means he also made those rich people realize that they should help out the poor people there. Swami Vivekanand delivered numerous lectures, wrote inspired letters to his friends and disciples, and composed poems to convey his deep spiritual insight about the oneness of all religion. He really felt that we are not all divided, we should not be divided by religion, because he felt that everyone's path lead to God, which is one, and he really wanted that all religion or people should come together. His speeches use powerful and stirring language. The words he used to use in his speeches used to really touch the hearts of the listeners here, the audience here, and often employ strong poetic rhythm to rouse his audience, to make it attractive or to make it interesting for the audience here. About the text. Now, what is this extract about? Now, as the Indian delegate is the person who represents the particular country or particular group here in a conference here. So, here Swami Vivekanand as an Indian delegate to this unprecedented interfaith congress here. Unprecedented means what? Which does not exist now. Interfaith congress here means what? Here earlier it was believed that in congress it was not that it belonged to a particular religion. There were so many people working in that you can say party which were who belong to different religions. That's why he is saying, and then in those days interfaith with means in congress there were many people of different religion, but it does not but this is not the case now, he wants to tell us. Swami Vivekanand's welcome address introduced the world to Hinduism. Means in his Chicago speech here, he introduced Hinduism to the world. This brief but pithy speech, means this was very short speech, but it is very clear speech. It propagates the idea of tolerance and universal harmony. Means in his speech he want to tell people about the idea of tolerance, how we should tolerate each other here, though we belong to different religion here, and universal harmony, and that only will bring peace in the country here or in the world. Within the context of religious pluralism, means in the context of religious pluralism is what? There are so many religions throughout the you can say country and in the world also here. But still, if we are tolerate with each other, there can be peace and harmony here. His speech at this platform brought him international attention. Means his because of his speech in Chicago, it really brought him international attention. People really came to know him here. After this, he embarked on a series of public and private lectures spreading the doctrine of Hindu philosophy. Means after his speech in Chicago, which became very famous here, he started giving speeches in public and private lectures with the aim to spread the doctrine of Hindu philosophy in the UK, the USA and Europe. Initiating the Western world to the rational and humanistic tenets of yoga and Vedanta. Means he was in his speeches used to make the Western world aware about the humanistic tenets and also about of yoga and Vedanta. He travelled internationally for almost 4 years spreading interfaith awareness. Now before we start the extracts here, have you heard the slogan popularized by Swami Vivekanand? Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varanibodhata. Now here they have asked you what is the meaning of this slogan. It means awake, arise and not stop until you reach the goal. I'll repeat again. It means awake, arise and not stop until you reach the goal. And he saying, is it relevant for us in today's world? Yes, this slogan is really relevant in today's world. Because in this world, if we want to become successful, if we want to survive here successfully here, we also have to follow this slogan, or we also have to keep this slogan in mind. After that, Swami Vivekanand was a social reformer and a tireless advocate for eliminating social evils such as caste system. Think of at least 3 other social reformers of 19th century. Can you discern any common themes in their vision? This you have to find out and do it, children. Now see here, we'll start with the speech here. Response to welcome. When he was welcomed in the Chicago conference here, see how he responded. 11th September 1893. Sisters and Brothers of America. How he addressed the people there in Chicago? He said, Sisters and Brothers of America. It fills my heart with joy and unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. Means he is saying, I am really overwhelmed, I am really happy, I really don't have words to tell you that how I am happy with the warm welcome which you have given me. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. Means he's saying, I thank you in the name of most ancient monks. We all know he was the Hindu monk here. So he's saying, I thank you all in the, you can say, name of most ancient order of monks. All the ancient monks, in order of that, I thank you. On behalf of them, I thank you. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions, and I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. He's saying, I thank you on behalf of mother of all religion, that is Hinduism, and I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. My thanks also to some of the speakers on this platform who referring to the delegates from the Orient. Means he's saying, I also thank to the speakers who are going to speak here, who are going to give speech here on this platform today. Referring to the delegates. Delegates, I told you that he is a person who is authorized or who represents or who is sent as an elected representative to a conference here. So along with Swami Vivekananda, there were other people also there. So he was thanked. Swami Vivekananda, in his speech, he thanked them also. From the Orient. Orient means what? The countries of East, especially East India. These delegates have come from the East India, the countries of East India. Have told you that these men are from far off nations, may well claim the honor of bearing to different lands the idea of toleration. Means he is saying here, I thank all of them, and I really thank them that they have come here from far off nations. They have come from such a long, you can say, far off place here, and they are here only to bring toleration in all the religions. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world to be tolerant, both tolerance and universal acceptance. He is saying, I am really proud to be a Hindu here, to belong to a Hindu religion here, which has taught the world, which has given a world an example of both tolerance, means willingness to recognize and respect the beliefs and practices of other religion, and also universal acceptance, means accepting people of all religion here. We believe not only in the universal toleration, but we accept all religion as true. Means it is not that we only tolerate their you can say religious feeling here, but it is not like that. But we also accept all the religion as true. Means whatever their belief is, that they believe that we have one God and our God is true and all. So we believe that we really respect their feelings also. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions. Means he's saying, I am really proud. I belong to a nation, means I belong to a country, India, which has sheltered, means which has given shelter to the persecuted. Persecuted here means someone who is subjected to hostility and ill treatment, especially because of their race and their political religion belief. Means a person who is forcefully had to leave the country because of their political issues or religious issues and all. So our country, I am really proud to tell you that our country has given shelter to this kind of people also. And the refugees, some countries, they feel that these people are not, they don't belong to our land. So those people are sent away from the country here. So they become refugees. They don't belong to a particular country here. So we have given shelter to refugees also of all religions. Means it can be, it is not that if they are Hindu and they are not being given shelter in the other country where they are born, then only we give them shelter. It is not like that. If they belong to other religions also, then also we give them shelter, though they are refugees here. And all nations of the earth. I am proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom the purest remnant of Israelites. Means he is saying here, I am really proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom, means in our country we have the purest remnants. Remnants means what? The people, the only few left people here. The group which are being, you can say, completely destroyed, only few are left now. So he is saying the Israelites who are Israelites, who are only few left now, we have given shelter to them, who came to the southern India and took refuge with us in the very year in which their holy temple was shattered to pieces by Roman tyranny. Means in the Romans have really shattered their temple here. So they didn't have place to live in here in their country. The condition was not like living in the country, so they were really forceful to leave the country and take shelter some other place. And our country, I am proud to tell you that our country gave them shelter and they came to the southern India. I am proud to belong to the religion which has sheltered and is still fostering the remnant of the grand Zoroastrian nation here. And he's saying, I am also proud to tell you that we belong to a religion which has given shelter and is still fostering. Fostering means what? To encourage the development of the remnant. Remnant, as I told you, only few are left. See, a part or a quantity that is left after the great part has been removed or destroyed. Few people left of the grand Zoroastrian nation, means the Parsi. See here, Zoroastrian, a monotheistic pre-Islamic religion of ancient Persia. The Parsi people here, you can say. Here Swami Vivekananda wants to tell us that he has given, our country has given shelter to them also. I will quote to you, brethren, a few lines from a hymn which I remember to have repeated from my earliest boyhood, which is every day repeated by millions of human beings. He is saying, I will now quote in my speech few lines which from my childhood, from my boyhood, I am repeating those lines and millions of people still repeat it. As the different streams having their sources in different places, all mingle their water in the sea. Means though there are different streams here, these water which is through the streams are brought and they all get collected into the sea here. So, O Lord, the different paths which men take through, different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to thee. Means he is saying, Lord, though we human beings, we take different paths, we have different tendency, we have different beliefs here. We all go through crooked and straight line, but all those lines lead to you. Means they all come and end to you. Means our Lord. The present convention means what? A large meeting or conference where he is giving the speech, which is one of the most august assemblies. August assemblies here you can say respected and impressive assemblies, is in itself vindication, means the justification for some act or belief. A declaration to the world of wonderful doctrine, means it is a declaration for the world which believes in the doctrine, means a set of beliefs here you can say preached in the Gita. See what you can say doctrine is being preached in Gita. Whosoever comes to me through whatsoever form, I reach him. All men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. Means what is said in Gita here, that whoever comes to me through whatsoever form they come, I reach him. Means God, you can say, accepts them. All men are struggling through paths, means all are struggling to go through the path here. But all those paths will end at the Lord, will lead to me, means what? Will end at one Lord. Sectarianism, bigotry and its horrible descendant fanatism have long possessed this beautiful earth. Means he is saying all the evils like sectarianism. Sectarianism means what? a narrow-minded adherence to a particular sect. Means we believe that our sect only is the correct one. Whatever our belief is only you can say correct, and we are only the true believers of our Lord, and we are the superior sect. That is known as sectarianism. Bigotery means what? Intolerance towards those who hold different opinions. If you are not holding the same opinion or as our particular sect holds, then what happened? We try to cause harm to them. That is known as what? Bigotery. And fanatism here means excessive intolerance of opposing views. Means through any harmful way, non-violent way, or you can violent way, we try to cause harm to them. That is known as what? Fanatism. So he is saying sectarianism, bigotry and fanatism has long possessed this beautiful earth. Means it has really causing harm to this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, drenched it often and often with human blood, and because of this violence, the earth is filled with human blood. Destroyed, it has destroyed many civilizations, sent whole nation to despair. Whole nation has been destroyed here. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far from more advanced than it is now. Means he's saying if these all evil things did not exist in our country or in this world here, then the human race or our society would be more as advanced than it is now. But their time is come, and I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning in honor of this convention may be death knell of all fanatism. But it is saying, but time has come now. I fervently you can say passionately or very with an intense feeling, I want to tell you that the bell has tolled this morning. Means that the bell has rung this morning. In the hour of convention may be the death knell, and the bell which is rung, it is the death knell. Means it is like when the person is dead in the church, they rung the bell here. In the same way, we are also ringing the bell that now all these evil things will get over. All persecution with the sword or with the pen, and of all uncharitable feelings between the persons bending their way to the same goal. Means it's saying everything, all the swords and with the pen, all the evil things which were taking place, everything is going to end now, and we are going to get collected with only one goal, that we are going to have tolerance and you can say peace in our country, in the world here. Now see next his speech. Why we disagree? 15 September 1893. He's saying, sorry. He's saying here, I will tell you a little story. You have heard the eloquent speaker who has just finished saying, let us cease from abusing each other, and he was very sorry that there should be always so much variance. Means he's saying, I'll tell you one story now. You have just heard such a nice, eloquent means what? Such a nice speaker now, who has just finished saying that let us cease from, means stop from abusing each other. We should not use harsh words for abuse each other or insult each other. He was very sorry that there should be always so much variance. Means he's saying here that difference between conflicting facts, claims and opinions, that we should not feel we should not have different opinion about each other's belief here. See here, but I think I should tell you a story too which would illustrate the cause of this variance. Means he's saying, I'll make you understand this very nicely why we have difference of opinion. See, in such a very nice and simple way he had made her understand here. See here, a frog lived in a well. It had lived there for a long time. It was born there and brought up there, and yet was a little small frog. Means he is saying a frog which lived in a well, it was born there, brought up there, and yet was a little small frog. Of course, the evolutionists were not there then to tell us whether the frog lost its eyes or not. Means he's saying there were no people there to tell us whether he lost his eyes or not. But for our story's sake, we must take it for granted that it had its eyes and that it every day cleans the water of all the worms by bacilli. Now, bacilli is what you can say a plural form of bacillus, a kind of bacteria here. In this way, it went on and became the little sleek and fat. Means when it was alone in that well, so it became very sleek and fat here. Elegant, streamlined shape and design. Well, one day, another frog that lived in the sea came and fell into the well. Now, one frog from the sea, it came and fell into the well where this only one frog used to live here. See here. Now, they are having a conversation. Where are you from? I am from the sea. First one asked, where are you from? So, the new one says, I am from the sea. The sea? How big is that? Is it as big as my well? And he took a leaf from one side of the well to another. Means he is saying, see, what is sea? How big is that? And is that as big as my well? We all know what is the difference between well and sea here. So this frog, he from his childhood, from the time he was born, he was living in that well only. So he doesn't know what is sea. So he just jumps from one side of the well to another and he asks the frog which is from the sea that is it as big as my well? My friend, said the frog of the sea. How do you compare the sea with your little well? So he is saying, now the frog which is from the sea knows what is the difference between the sea and the well. So he is saying, how can you compare a sea with a well? Then the frog took another leap and asked, is your sea so big? So he took one more leap and he said, is your sea so big? It is big now. How much ever he has leaped here? What nonsense you speak. To compare the sea with your well? He is saying, what nonsense are you speaking? How can you compare the sea with your well? Well, then said the frog of the well, nothing can be bigger than my well. There can be nothing bigger than this. This fellow is a liar, so turn him out. So what he is saying? Nothing can be bigger than my well. Whatever you are speaking, that your sea is bigger than mine is a false. So he is saying, throw this frog away from this well here. That has been the difficulty all the while, and he is saying this is the case with us also, we humans also. I am a Hindu, I am sitting in my own little well and thinking that the whole world is my little well. The Christian sits in his little well and he thinks that the whole world is his well. The Mohammedan sits in his little well and thinks that is the whole world. Now I have to thank you of America for the great attempt you are making to break down the barriers of this little world of ours, and hope that in the future the Lord will help you to accomplish your purpose. He is saying, now this is the problem with our humans. We are sitting in our own well, we are sitting in our country and we believe that whatever our belief is, whomever God we are believing is the true one. And everyone should believe in us only, and we are only the true, you can say, originators of the religion here. And so for that purpose, he is thanking America here. He is saying here, you have made us realize when we all our delegates are sitting in this conference today, we realize that there are so many religions in the world. All people, delegates from different spiritual beliefs are coming here to speak here on behalf of their religion here, and we all are speaking here for the main thing, that is tolerance and you can say harmony in the world here. Now, so the next one, the last one here, address at the final session of this conference. The world's parliament of religion has become an accomplished fact. The merciful Father here means he wants to tell us the whatever the conference which had taken place in the parliament of religion, it has accomplished, means it has fulfilled the fact. And the merciful Father means what? It is really the goal which they have come of harmony and tolerance. It is really fulfilled here. It has helped those who are labored to bring into existence and crowned with success their most unselfish labor here. Means it has really become a platform where the people who can come and express their feelings which are related to tolerance here. My thanks to those noble souls whose large hearts and love of truth first dreamed of this wonderful dream and then realized it. Means I really thank those people, those noble souls who really came with an idea of having this conference here and then fulfilling this, you can say, aim of this conference. My thanks to shower of liberal sentiments here. Liberal sentiments here, you can say progressive ideas and thoughts. Means if you want to really progress, you have to really stop discriminating people regarding on the basis of their religion, their sex, their class and all. That has overflowed this platform. My thank to this enlightened audience, means this audience which really have great knowledge and spiritual insight here, for their uniform kindness to me and for their appreciation to every thought that tends to smooth the friction of religion here. A few jarring notes. Jarring means what? Making or causing harsh or irritating sound. Means while giving speech, someone must have said something. All the speakers so were heard for time to time in this harmony. Means they were also heard quietly. My special thanks to them for they have by their striking contrast made general harmony the sweeter. Means they have really by this act of theirs, they have made us realize we should really tolerate each one's opinion here. Much has been said to the common ground of religious unity. I am not going just now to venture my own theory. Means he is saying a lot of things have been said on the religious unity and he is not going to venture, means what, he is not going to tell or you can say introduce to people his own theory now here. But if anyone here hopes that this unity will come by the triumph of any one of the religion and the destruction of the other, to him I say, means if anyone believes that if you can say unity in the country will bring only if that one religion will become superior and all other religions are destructed, for them, see what he wants to say, brother, your is an impossible hope. He saying whatever you are thinking is really wrong here. Do I wish that the Christian would become Hindu? God forbid. Means he is saying I have not come here with an aim that the Christian should become Hindu. Do I wish that the Hindu or Buddhist would become Christian? He is saying I really don't want the Hindu or Buddhist also to become Christian here. The main aim of this conference was to make people realize, though we have different beliefs here, we should really, you can say, respect all those beliefs here. The seed is put in the ground and the earth and the air and the water are placed around it. Does the seed become the earth or the air or the water? See how he is giving example. We have put the seed in the ground here and the earth, the air and the water are all around it. So we cannot say that the seed becomes the earth or the air or the water. Or no, it becomes a plant here. Means he is saying it will not become air, water or earth. It will become a plant. That seed will turn into a plant. It develops after the law of its own growth here. So assimilates here. The air, the earth and the water. Means when it takes the help of air, earth and water, then only it develops and it grows into a plant here. In the same way he wants us to understand, we should not think that our religion is or our belief is superior one and we destroy all other religions here. If we want to grow, we should all together, everyone, all the religions to stand up together, then only there will be development in the world here. Similar is the case with religion. The Christian is not to become a Hindu or a Buddhist, nor a Hindu or a Buddhist to become a Christian. But each must assimilate the spirit of the others and yet preserve his individuality. Means we should respect their beliefs here and we should also preserve our individuality, means follow our tradition and grow according to his own law of growth. Means follow each and every religion, but we should not harm the other religion or other person's belief. If the parliament of religion has shown anything to the world, it is this. It has proved the world that holiness, purity and charity are not the exclusive possessions of any church in the world, and that every system has produced men and women of most exalted character. Means it is here it wants to tell us this parliament of religion has proved the world that the holiness, purity and charity does not belong to any church only, any temple or masjid only. Here it is really related to the entire world, people who are living in this world, and every system has produced men and women of exalted, means great characters here. In the face of this evidence, if anybody dreams of the exclusive survival of his own religion and the destruction of the others, I pity him from the bottom of my heart. Means he's saying here, even if after listening to all these speeches given in the conference here, if the people, any person here believes that only their religion should survive and all other religions should be destroyed, I really feel sorry for that person from bottom of my heart, and point out to him that upon the banner of every religion will soon be written, in spite of resistance, help and not find. Means he is saying that on the banner of all the religion there will be written that help and not fight. Means we should help each other, we should not fight. Assimilation and not destruction, we should come together, we should not destroy each other. Harmony and peace and not dissension, there should be harmony and peace, there should be no disagreement with each other, there should be no conflict with each other. I hope you have understood. Very nice speech related to peace and harmony and tolerance is given by Swami Vivekananda. Go through the video lecture again and try to understand it more nicely. And the question answers which are given below the extract also, I want you all to go through the video lecture and try to solve those question answers. Thank you.